In front of you is a picture that is famous all over the world. It's a roaring lion, Winston Churchill's most popular portrait. This picture was in almost every English home. It's been printed on postcards and stamps, and recently it even appeared on the 5-pound bill, after the photograph was published in 1942. Its author, Yusuf Karsh, became the most sought-after photographer in the world. But how did he get lucky enough to take this unique shot? And why did Eleanor Roosevelt jokingly refer to this photograph as the British Prime Minister's first major defeat? Let's get to the bottom of it. December 30th, 1941. Winston Churchill came on a business visit to Ottawa, the capital of Canada. Local photographer Yusuf Karsh waited patiently for the British Prime Minister's speech in the House of Speakers. And as soon as the politician appeared in the meeting room, he offered to capture the historic moment. Churchill frowned and then informed the photographer that he only had 2 minutes to spare and immediately lit a cigar. As we know, all the photographs of Churchill are of him with a cigar. No other portraits, in fact. There were no other options. But Karsh did not need another picture of Churchill with a cigar. The author gently moved an ashtray towards the British Prime Minister, but he ignored Yusuf's offer. Then Karsh approached Churchill closely and with the words, "Excuse me, sir," he took the cigar out of his mouth. And Churchill was so stunned. You know, the leader of the country having a cigarette taken away from him, takes his cigarette, takes it out of his mouth, and that's why this sinfulness, that's what's reflected in this picture. The Canadian photographer's insolent prank enraged Churchill, but after a minute, the politician thawed and even allowed Karsh to take another picture. On it, the Prime Minister stands with a kind smile. Churchill liked the audacity of the photographer and said, "You can make even a roaring lion look peaceful, quiet, and make him smile." A portrait of an angry Churchill called The Roaring Lion was published on the cover of the popular American magazine Life. A little later, the image was printed on propaganda posters, calendars, and postage stamps. The famous American journalist Edward R. Murrow attributed the popularity of Churchill's fearsome portrait to this. Mostly, though, Churchill was just angry about the cigar, and Eleanor Roosevelt, wife of the American president, has been joking about the British Prime Minister for a long time. She said this was the first serious portrait of him, not his last. Churchill and Murrow, like many other Americans, were very close. By the way, Yusuf Karsh received only $100 for his portrait of Churchill. But once it was published, the Canadian photographer had a steady stream of clients for the rest of his life.